Hello, my name is Steph. If you'd like to come on in and have a seat for some symbolic support, we're going to utilize a pick a card or pick a pile, pick your path, pick your bookmark. We've got 3 scrolls here that you'll be able to choose from. We'll scry for shapes and symbols that may speak to our psyche and psychic senses. We'll add on some tarot and oracle in the shaman's palm configuration, and where Mr. Ghosty here is, we have Ghost Tube for any audio additions from the afterlife that may further add to our auric adventures. Overall, please do receive a release freely. If you are new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome home. I'm so grateful for your time, attention, and awareness, as your perspective and presence is powerful. When you're ready, let's go. If you would like to choose a 1, 2, 3, or if there's an order, a 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, whatever feels good to you, take a moment. I'm going to open up, and timestamps are below and in the comment section and description box. So when you're ready,
to leave.
You're more than welcome to leave, love. Take a nice deep breath. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support. In the name and honor of anyone here at any time. Thank you for being my muse, and may you meet a message with meaning. All right. If you'd like to hover, did you ever do that as a kid? Hover, see which one, tingle or hot or heat or coolness. I'll see you on your timestamps. Bookmark 1, when you're ready, let's go. Shall reveal, live time.
Killed.
Were you killed? Are you okay? How were you killed? Your reveal is the protection bookmark. I'll put the link below to the scroll shop if you're interested in any of the bookmarks. They are all one of one, and you know the drill. If you see, sense, or feel anything, please feel well to comment below, drop an emoji. Any interactions with the channel is appreciated.
Beside you.
Are you beside me? That's wonderful. Have a seat. Scooch up a seat. I have butterflies in my fingertips. Have you ever met a person who just has this inherent gentleness with Mother Nature? Birds come to them, butterflies just land on them. That's what this kind of feels like. Almost like if protection has many degrees, and not all of them are tough love or, I don't know, defensive.
Who is she?
There's also a gentleness. And perhaps building a connection with the, parameters, the paradigm of protection. Interesting. I'm seeing somebody that was a baby, and it's specifically in the movie Goonies. And if I recall, there's like a treasure hunt or a treasure pirates, junk, something along that line. Some sort of friendship that feels unlikely.
Who?
But it's very, very real. And there's a gentleness again about it. There's a gentleness. It's like I can see myself in them, and they can see themselves in me through the strength of kindness, the spirit of. Okay, so now I am in a place where I feel like I'm at a gym or a ring where I might be practicing like boxing or sparring. I feel like this is a different form. This is a different version of protection. Interesting. I'm also seeing warrior pose in yoga. And this warrior pose has a directness and something about leverage without, so I'm really being asked to focus. Sorry if I'm like blah, 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 blah. Something about my shoulders and not with this, sorry, tautness, not to be tight. Shoulders down, more space here. Focus doesn't need to, okay, focus doesn't need to be stressful. Because there's many degrees of pursuing while protecting other things. Maybe this is also in, if I may, an emotional space where I might do things outwardly, skill sets to protect something, right? Like you might learn a task or a skill to protect yourself, to learn a skill so you can defend. And then likewise, you might take on gentle or more seemingly passive, less aggressive, kung fu, or what is it? I'm seeing Friends, Ross from Friends, karate. You might take something more passive, but it nurtures and protects.
I'm close.
Like going for a massage or, Reiki or energy work, and that nurtures the protection membrane around the seed of something, where the active has its place as well. Something about this membrane seems to be really important. I also feel like you're done listening to, okay, so I'm in the cartoon, I think, Charlie Brown, and the teacher maybe goes, wah, 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 wah. I feel like I'm done listening to wah, 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 wahs.
Libra.
Okay, so I'm also in a show. I don't think I've seen it all the way through. Maybe Shadowhunters or Fate. It's a very fun kind of Netflix teen show, but it's about enhancing all these skills. So I feel like I'm in like archery, that I'm in shields and working with different sharp wings. Then I'm also learning how to balance things and to how it is being of service, rude. And then I also come down here and I sit and meditate, and that gentleness, that nurturing of the meditation membrane, which also enhances this part, the active, and vice versa. Does this make sense? I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but kind of sorry, not sorry, because they're friends, right? They're friends from the Goonies. There's this adventure that is meant to be revealing. Skywriting the fates in the cave of ice, and in the cave of winds is the galactic mushroom, the divine matrix. If those mean anything to you, please follow that first. Even put me on mute and just allow it to come through. I take no offense. In the winds is like this triangle power. Playing with the butterflies, sitting with the butterflies, but I am grounded by, have you ever seen that show? I think it was called American Gladiators. That's what I'm seeing. But it's grounded by this activity. I also see somebody writing their own play or script, and if it's not in regards to a career or a personal passion, this is some recognition. No, I feel like I'm recognizing something of your story. Mindful groupthink is in the cave of hearth fires. Where can I put you? So I'll just have to put you up there. There we go. We're good. And there's this group right here.
It's possible.
This consciousness group works in density, but the connection is in the mindscape. Friends. Something about the limbo. Dun, 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 dun. Is that the right song? Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if that's the right limbo song. Yeah, that shoulder thing. I'm seeing it in baseball, like baseballs, but the stitching on a baseball quite specifically. And it brings me into perception. So I think there's something I've stitched together. A tidy house, clarity and organization in the cave of rivers of how you're feeling. This is, yeah, this is all in that like root. If this was a root of all these different skills, what you generate, your generations of this lifetime, and also what floods through other lifetimes. I'm back with the baseball thing, softball and hardball, offense, defense, the different degrees and different ways to perform protection without closing off. Cave of Earth is horned cactus resourcefulness. And this is how I think I'm protected. I'm protective. But it doesn't close me off from different fates. Or what I'm fated to, perhaps in the root space that maybe I have in some way, shape, or form, just acknowledging how I'm feeling. The very things I may be upset about, angry, resentful of, I, in some way, shape, or form, have been nurturing. I've been protecting those. And whatever and however one might be going through this, because there's others as well, it feels like it's cleaning that up and like stitching that perspective together and realizing how it's healing.
This is my place.
It's like a group effort of all the roots that you've incarnate with, and they're all resources. So even when I say like these friends and a collective that, or what you're connected to, it might even be just a bunch of root chakra essences, wheels of creation of many lifetimes you've had together. Does that make sense? I feel like it makes sense. Hopefully I'm doing it some justice, because it's like the roots are rising up above ground. And you can really start to see your work come into fruition and be realized in whatever it is that you are writing, deciding to write as your fate. All right. Okay. Oh, let's grab you a bird before we go. Let's grab you a bird. Thank you, Bookmark One. If you're part of the Secreteur Society, you will get access to the extended. Link will be below. Woodpecker. New rhythm is developing. This is it. Rhythm is a dancing. It's up in the surface. Resources. Resourcefulness. We'll grab you another one because, oh, okay, we're going to grab you two more. We also have Raven. Things are shape-shifting. And Sparrow. Trust in your own nobility. Sparrows seem common, but there's something about the numbers. It's bringing me into the group. Even though they might be brown and very common looking, the sparrows work in a group. There's something about the sound and the messages communicating between all of these different root systems of you that are all you, it seems like. Now, for some, it might be different people, your friends, collaborations, connections, but I'll be honest with you, I'm doing it all the way home, and it feels like you're tidying up your holistic house. right at the root space. All of the roots together, connecting, and it's beautiful. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Until next time, so much love. Bye. Number 2, this bookmark's for you. Oh my goodness. I was so distracted by my cleverness. All right, let's get on with the reveal. When you're ready. Love. You know the drill. Please feel free to comment below what you see, sense, or feel. Drop an emoji or keep to oneself. I appreciate any interactions with the channel. Okay. Okay. So I'm very happy about something. I feel like I'm at forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right, quinceañera, or something along that lines, a celebration of sorts, indicating, is it like a bar mitzvah for boys, a coming of age of something? Now remove earth age.
Chair.
Remove earth age, and there's a coming of age of something. Also something about a very kind of tall glass. You know how like different spirits, cocktails, even coffee mugs, wine glasses, champagnes, flutes. There's something about the shape of a glass. I'm seeing this as a draft glass, specifically a draft glass. For some of you, you might be feeling drafted to like a new team of love, whether that love connection is romantic or platonic, corporate, creative, you know, the yada yada yadas is none of my business, but it feels like love. And kind of, yeah, just, okay. Okay, for somebody specifically in this, I'm going to call it spirit realm or spiritual realm. Okay. This coming of age thing essence is asking me to acknowledge that you have either chosen or made the choice or are making the commitments to connect with this collective, this person, meditation. I don't know what it is, but there are definitely things that you've been doing and going through over the last at least decade, quite specifically. And
stop recording.
I'm not going to do that, but just give me a moment. It's like the coming of age because you've made choices along the way that are put you in a position to be drafted for some other kind of position. I don't know what that means.
Come over here.
I don't know if that means you're going to be a writer, an author. If it has a task associated to it, I apologize if I'm all over the place. Sorry, not sorry at all. This is, you're used to it. Or if it's something in your clairs, in your energy, or you're like, you know what? I'm going to make sandwiches and feed the homeless. I don't know what it is, but it's something along this lines. It's like, because I'm seeing it in a sports analogy where, you know, football people, baseball people, I don't know, please pick any sport. And they practice, they high school, minor leagues, major leagues, this leagues, beer leagues. But there's always an action associated with something about whatever that thing is, like the spiritual sport, for lack of a better term, but perhaps perfect term I'm going to call it. And you've been specializing in this. And like a team, there might be offense, defense. It just does relate into Bookmark One if you want to jump over there or coming from there. And making these choices, but everyone has their specific position and number. But you can also move around. Anyway, it's like you're being drafted. for the spiritual, and it feels very happy anyway. Feels very happy. I feel very stumbly over my words today. Excuse me. And I'm just going to let it be. Let it be. Let it be. If you're part of the Secreteur Society, I will see you for the flip side. The link will be below if you're interested in joining
Where
us.
are you?
But we will start adding on some cards in the Shaman's Palm. Red Rover, let so-and-so come over. Field of Dreams. And the Cave of Ice. There's something that you've been doing, working towards. And it's like, if you build it, they will come. Is that the thing? And you've been building and building and building. In the mind, in the heart, in the... There's liftoff. There's liftoff.
Basement.
But something about finishing the bottom. Like getting to the bottom of something. I'm also painting the roses red. I'm painting the roses red. Cave of Winds is wide open. And in the Cave of Hearthfires, I have here Magic Stream and Heal the Ouch. Maybe for some, if it's in regards to a relationship, external or internal.
Brandy.
So blatantly, it's like I'm ready to date again. So that's cool. My root rage has cooled, if that's a message for somebody specifically. There's a calmness in...
Did.
There's a calmness in this Viking-like energy. Specifically, it feels Viking-y. And in the travels maybe you have taken, the time you have taken, the actions you have taken, the blood, sweat, and tears to date, it's like being drafted. It begins here. Like any sort of goal is really a beginning. It's like doing all these things, not to reach the end goal or the end game, but it's a beginning. It's always a beginning. It's always a beginning.
In the corner.
My heart feels just very calm. My mind feels open. And I'm also open to receive. And I know that's like a really cheesy thing to say. I am open to receive. But that's how it feels. Chin up. In the cave of, where are we? Rivers is Sacred Pool. Well, that's beautiful. Because now it's like I'm from this magic stream. It's like if you have ever been on one of those log rides at a theme park, you know, and then, and it's all this chaos and water everywhere. But from the magic stream, I've come down the log ride of sorts. It was exhilarating, scary, nerve-wracking. And then you come into like a lazy river, you know, and then it brings you into this just pool where you can self-soothe, float. I feel very airy and watery here. But I think the point of at least how I'm feeling, if I may, as I wander around it, is because it's building towards this field of dreams that's de-thawing. And I'm actually in the ice that's de-thawing. in different stages and different temperatures. Different temperatures. I've been clearing my throat a lot, and I apologize. In the Cave of Earth, we have here balancing act that has also come through with flying.
I want to come.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. There's something about the rings. I don't know what this is. It's like white roses and then painting them red. It's like you can be a Viking and also
Gemini.
yeah, it's like the angel and the demon. If I got to just get right to the brass tacks of it, and they both serve. They both serve because in this context, they help each other out. And the demon part, I'm associating with density right now, and it is the boots to the mud. It goes out in the field, it goes to work, it does the things, and it navigates well. And it's when that demon within, for its strength, comes back to the team or home base, it's the angel, because they're both divine in their essence, I suppose.
Mother.
Is, and yeah, it gets healed, soothed by the angel of oneself. And then when the angel wanders maybe more air and water aspects, where the demon is more earth and fire.
Martha.
That's the balancing act that makes this field of dreams. And while it might seem like a maze or musical, it's lifting up like a jetpack where you need fire, flame of some sort, or I don't know the word. I can hear it in my head, but some sort of ignition and fuel anyway to take off and lift up in this coming of age in the choices you've made. If you follow the wordage of, the chosen ones, well, if you choose yourself, commit to that, whatever that means for you. It's not to be taken for granted, because everyone in their own way might be working in that, all the different placements of sorts, right? High school in the sports analogy, so not my forte. Not everyone gets drafted, but everyone's time does come based on their choices, based on their commitment, based on their willingness to work as a team, their ability to work independently. And you have this whole balancing act working in your favor. Okay, let's add you on a bird. It's at Andrew's
Follow
bird.
me.
I hope this did. I will follow you. Because it's whatever you love. Magpie, I will bring you down with me. Secrets discovered. And Kingfisher, sunshine, prosperity, and love. All this blue. It's like black, white, and red. Blue, white, and green. It's all very harmonious. I wonder what you're being drafted towards. Curious. Oh, one last card. We have here Eagle. Spirit, vision, and healing surround you. And that's very much indicative up there in the Cave of Hearth Fires. I'm going to let you go. I feel like I don't really need to say anything more to this. This is very inspiring. Very inspiring. So thank you very much. I will see you next time. I hope this would serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Timestamps. I'll see you on the other sides, or till next time. So much love. Bye. Number 3. So mote it be. Let's go. I hope you're doing well. You know the drill. Please feel well to comment below what you see, sense, or feel.
Female.
Drop an emoji. Any interactions with the channel is appreciated. Links are below. You have Ghost. Take it in. Sorry if my palm's getting in the way. Something about claymation.
Catherine.
There's whispers. Not secrets per se, but it feels like whispers. She's like the wind. Catherine? Yeah, there's a conversation happening here. There's lots of conversations, actually. Like that old-fashioned game of telephone. But it's sticking. It's not changing. Trust the telephone. This might be in regards to like telepathy or working with a ghost or a spirit of someone or something. I feel like I'm looking at... Okay. It keeps changing on me really fast, so I got to get my bearings here because the energy is completely different. It's like the material here is completely different. If you had found a footprint of Bigfoot or a dinosaur or of an animal, whatever the case is, and you take a mold of that,
Up here.
is it like plaster or something? Something about that footprint. There's a footprint that's very, very important. I don't know if it's your footprint. It almost feels like it's unbelievable. But evidence and proof, but I have this footprint, but you can't ask anyone to see it. If they don't, even if there's a physical evidence of something, I'm assuming this is in relation to some sort of frequency, vibe, spirit realm, whatever the case is. You could put it in front of them and it's the proof and the evidence isn't acknowledged. Like they just don't see it because that's what doesn't align with their reality. There's a very specific story that's coming through or I don't know if it's true. That's never my concern. But the moral of the story of something like even Jesus could go out and do all these healings, but in his hometown, he couldn't because the belief wasn't there. They couldn't believe that whatever they had associated with him. But that doesn't stop somebody because of that. You go where you align and respect that they will never see it because it cannot come forward in front of them. It would disrupt their reality. Dare I say, like almost like out of sync, out of time. Your time frame and maybe what you see, sense, feel, what you experience. There's a respectfulness that it's not for all necessarily to understand. For some, it will be rejected respectfully by you, not necessarily, can't control. Sorry if I'm butchering this. For others, it'll inspire an investigation, an internal investigation within the self to see what it sparks. For others, there's this immediate faith or understanding, alignment, knowing. And then for others, there's a blindness in that as well. They're not investigating enough. Nothing is meant to answer. The crypticness of even this Bigfoot expression, evidence or proof of it's meant, I feel like It's meant to inspire questions, less answering them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like I like butchered that hardcore, but oh, okay, we're gonna go over there. There's, because it's like I feel as though when I'm writing here, imagine almost like a seed, and it's vibrating at such a rate I can't get a clear outline of it.
Farther.
But then I can see it starting to, I could say separate.
Gemini.
But I don't know that I want to say separate. I'm also seeing a wand. I don't know if somebody's been working with a wand energy. If you've been following through in sequence, there's somebody winking at me. That's funny. They're
Pleasure.
like, but they're not winking. Well, I guess they are winking at me, but they're kind of like, I caught them in a wink. And then they're like, oh, you saw. Or when somebody like me, you can wink. But if you think too hard about it, suddenly the winking is weird and it's awkward. But if you're just like, there you go. See, no problem. But when you try and, I don't know, that's what it feels like. This wand works in mysterious ways. It's exactly how I heard it. So I will say it like that. It's right in here. There's somebody, maybe a ghost that you know. Excuse me, Cave of Ice. I'm just going to get all the cards out on the table here. Six of Swords. There's plenty of people that you know that are in, we could call ghost form. They're not necessarily caught in the middle of the membrane or veil of sorts. My face is getting all itchy. Like, I feel like there's just like, I just walked through a bunch of spider webs. It's like moving through the threshold. For those, some of spirits, ghosts, plasmic beings.
Virgo.
That didn't know if they could leave you. You know, they weren't sure, but they didn't want to be earthbound. And I don't think that's what you wanted either. But there's almost like there's a contemplation here in this story suddenly. Do I stay earthbound to stay closer to those here that they're more familiar with, or do I cross over?
Hidden.
Cave of Hearthfires, the Sun, and Five of Swords. They called the light. They
Related.
went. Because being earthbound, to stay closer to those incarnate, can't hear them. It's so lonely when I think of that. It's so lonely. They can't help even themselves through and they're not even heard necessarily. They might leave footprints and indications. It kind of feels like sometimes it's not enough, but they understand it. So they know, or they learn to know, that by crossing over fully allows them to help more. They are actually become closer. They become closer because they change forms. And there's all these swords, but I'm seeing them as wands. Like, not wands in in the tarot or the spears, like magic wands. It has many of the elements. It's like if the magician made one tool with all the elements. That's the tool I'm looking at. Cave of Rivers. So if anyone's worried if somebody didn't cross over, can't cross over, please know that they have. They have.
The doll.
I don't know how else to say it other than so matter-of-factly, because whoever this is specifically, they have. And this is how they're helping you. Queen of Cups and the Cave of Earth. When you pray, when you talk, when you contemplate, whatever the case may be. Thank you. They hear you. They can hear you better. You can hear them better, contrary to what one may want to say about that. This message is like telling me like the afterlife, like the Bigfoot footprint. It's right there. It's right here. There's evidence all around. There's proof all around. How do I say? Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to add on a card here. Sorry. There's such a... This is almost, I think, the point maybe Invisible. You can resonate with it. It's the space where there's no more words. It's the space where you just be and you feel that they're around you. And there's nothing proving or not proving that they are. But you know that they're there. It's going to make me cry because that's the feeling. That's the feeling. That feeling, when internally investigated within oneself, so it can be held and strengthened in your connection to spirit specifically, because you do build ways to trust and create patterns so you know who you're speaking with or who's in your aura, right? Over time. But this skill set can also be hijacked when in a state of grief or anger. It's like, and then being drawn into, you know, as an extreme example, like a cult or something like that, or a very strict sect of something.
Donate.
Because you can. That feeling that has no words, and when someone can put it to words for you or knows how to extend an understanding. This is for the living. That doesn't happen for those that have passed on. This is a very specific sensation for the living. I'm not trying to be mean towards anything. Hopefully that's known. But this is like, it's in that space of, I can't seem to say what I'm saying. But if somebody came along right now and said, you said it so well. And there's a camaraderie of that. But when it's interdependent, not codependent,
hiding,
not dependent. When it's inter, everyone's holding their inter-individualness. It can be shared and shun on, like shun, like shine, shun, versus, not necessarily versus. That feels very celebratory because it's like this teaching, this coalescing of interconnectedness. But the other way, it's like, oh, they said something, or they know, so they must know. And it's taken advantage of and becomes codependent. Your inter-knowing has no evidence, but I'm the evidence for you. Therefore, you and I must be. This feels like an external. I'm not talking about you and I. Just let that be known. Interdependency, inter-inspiration, interconnectedness. And I'm being very, very honest about that. For somebody specifically, if you've lost a child, my condolences. Please know that they are growing and being in bliss. I have here moderation coming in. And then take advice. This feels right here in this footprints. Okay. Well, you know, like the famous quote, or I think it was really popular in the 90s, like, and I walk beside you, the footprints walk beside you. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting here. This telepathy kind of telephone thing, I think it's wisdom's coming in. Okay, so there also might be a gentleman in spirit that might be a partner. He is masculine energy predominantly, male expressed.
night,
Also something about Martha, the name Martha. There's a lot going on here. Like, I'm just kind of stuck in here. Not stuck in a bad way. Oh, my shadows get all up in the way. There's a little story in here as well. I feel like I am directing something. Like, if these were stilts, oh, there's people praying in here, or they're gathering hands. There's their head. This might be the children. And they have, or if you have like a younger sibling and you put them on your shoulder so they can see, and they can see what's going on. Somebody in this spirit realm is very, very excited for what you're doing. They want to see what you're doing. They want to see where you're going to go with this. Because oh my goodness, somewhere along the lines you have felt left out for one reason or another. And maybe you needed, okay, I don't know if I'm going back to Bookmark 1 or 2, that was protecting something. The very essence of having things feeling left out was serving and protecting something, likable or not, can't believe it or not, belief or non-belief, but that's what it was. And you have figured that out. Something was shunned. It's like being shunned to being shined upon. And that might even be unbelievable to some. Let it be unbelievable to them, because that serves their reality and their paradigms and programs of power and personas and personalities and codependencies and dependencies and interdependency. You have taken, ironically, what I'm sensing here is a moderate path. You've also been moderating yourself too much.
that's mine,
And this is like since you were a child. You have been born of a certain strength to be of service to spirit. Now, when I say spirit, I mean spirit in its entirety, of whether in density, the spirit of a tree, to the energy of a tree, to the element of a tree, to the expression of a planet. You have a certain strength since this incarnation to, even perhaps with this travel card being on the bottom, cross over to maybe psychopomp style, perhaps help others see their shine and feel their shine, to inspire them. You're not fixing them. You are inspiring their own enlightenment within themselves, because then it's rooted in them. It comes from no one else. But it's shared by those around them.
Harm.
Yes, there has been times the left out. You've had to leave people, places, or things that feel like you could be harmed, or they wanted you to be threatened or feel threatened. If you were to not be in their safety or not be in their presence, harm would come to you. And maybe at some point in time you did take that advice, but you did inevitably move on. And where you moved on to is this Nine of Coins, Queen of Cups. There's a progression here of age. Their persuasion, while pretty,
Start.
yeah, having confidants and people that, or a few versus the many sometimes, when you might have been feeling left out, can be very, very beneficial. You might be working with masters versus many. I'm not saying that the many aren't masters or anything along that lines, but everyone comes into that at their own time. Coming into that mastery, because then every peacockery isn't actually trying to persuade anything. They're just shining. And when respected masters are in a room, they celebrate that, because you're shining. Spirit shines. Your spirit. Beyond your physicality. Any expression
Protect.
of your spirit embodied. So there are few versus the many. Though many say, but don't do. They are learning their own time. Speaking to spirit. The spirit of Steph, the spirit of you, the spirit of the tree, the spirit of this, the spirit of the car, the metal. And you celebrate everything that is seen that we could call a difference or a separateness or an experience. It's all the eyes in the peacock feathers. Shine on, absolutely. But here's the thing. Like loved ones that have passed over and crossed the threshold to form, these masters get together and then they shake hands hello.
Hiding.
And then they shake hands goodbye. Because you got to go and do the work, do the things, be the things. And then for somebody else here, quite specifically, I'm sorry if I'm rambling, a new teacher's coming in. But it's like co-teaching. But you know that. All right, I'm going to let you go. I hope this did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. If you're part of the Secret Earth Society, the link is below to the extended. Otherwise, I will see you again soon. Love you.